What's up, you guys? It's your girl JJ, and welcome to J Speaks, everything God, culture, and relationships. Welcome back, you guys, to J Speaks, and I'm super honored and excited that I get to have a reoccurring guest. He has been on my lives twice before. He was on The Father Figure as well as the Mary Edition Part 2, and so I want to introduce you all to Derrick Gamble.
Hey,
Hola, Derrick.
What's up, girl? How you doing? I am great. First, I'm honored. I realized I was on 3 times. I thought this was my second appearance, but you're right. I was on 3. This is my 3rd time on here. So, I appreciate that and you bringing me back out. And now we're in studio this time.
I know.
So now I really feel special now.
You are special. That's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
Yeah.
Shout out to you. Before we do this, right?
Yeah.
Let me give you your praise, right?
Okay.
Because I'm proud of you.
Okay.
And I'm happy for, the evolution and you going up from, the stages, at least that I've been with you and been on your show and seeing where it's at. I think this is a dope setup and another stepping stone for you and another path to where you're trying to get. So I'm proud of you. I'm happy for you too.
Who's cutting onions in here? I really want to just cry. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure.
It's always an honor to be recognized for what you're doing, especially what you're doing for the kingdom. Not that I seek any kind of praise or any flowers like they call it, but it's always nice to hear it because you never know what you're doing until you're doing it, and you never know how much you're impacting people until there's a response. So I think I just answered the call. It's whatever God wanted me to do, and now I'm here and there's a response. So
100%.
I appreciate you for opening with that. That's amazing. All right, we're gonna keep together during our episode, okay? Anytime Derrick is on, I always get just a little nervous. If you guys go back to my lives, you'll see I'm not nervous, but before I always get a little nervous. Picking Derrick's brain is always amazing. There's so much knowledge and intellect on the inside of him and wisdom, and so you just never know. So we're gonna flow in conversation. We're gonna have a good time today. So I always ask everybody this question, and I think I've asked you this question before, but since we're in the studio, who is Derrick Gamble? Who are you?
That is always an interesting question when somebody asks me that, because at this point in my life, I always just say I'm a vessel. You know what I mean? I'm just wherever I'm called and whatever I'm called to do, that's what I am at the time. So, by trade and, business-wise, social media marketer. I'm good with small business, helping getting your brand out there and stuff like that. By passion, I'm a coach in basketball, a mentor to the youth as well. And my everyday life, I'm a husband, I'm a father. So that wraps it up with everything. But I think it all starts with me being a vessel in everything I do, and it kind of just stacks up, and everything else adds into that, and that's it.
I love that. What's the greatest role that you take to heart? Like, what's the greatest role that you honor as far as husband, father, mentor, coach? What are you passionate about?
I think when you go that route, it has to start with husband. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I always remember when I was in church one time, and the pastor said he was like, yeah, like you'll get asked like, oh, like who you love more, like who's your favorite kid, and this and this and this, and it's like I always say my wife. That's my favorite one. The love you give other people, it has to start with your wife before you give it to your kids, before you give it to anybody else. So I think that's my greatest role. Of course, God is always first. Yeah. We know that. But in day-to-day life, I think the love at home that you start with your significant other, it translates to how you give it to everybody else. And there's a lot of people who, you can tell a lot about a person by the way they love other people. That'll tell you how they love their person at home as well. So.
You guys, listen, we're not even 5 minutes in. He's already spitting gems on just the love that he has for his wife, Gracie.
Yeah.
I think she's dope. I met her one time on the live.
Yes.
And very sweet, very calm.
Yes, total opposite of me.
Yeah, the same. Total opposite, but you can tell like she's your balance.
100%.
And you can tell that she really loves you because when she talks about you, she cries.
Yeah.
And that's so sweet. I love that.
That is sweet. That's my baby. That's my baby. 18 years.
Wow.
18 years. Yeah, I'm 37, so you can do the math on that.
Okay.
18 years.
That's a long time.
That's a very long
like
time.
Teenage.
Yeah, 19.
Yeah, 19.
Yep.
Well, you know what? Some people find their person early on in their life. And
100%.
when you find it, you know, you hold on to it.
100%.
Talk to me about coaching and mentoring. What is that like for you?
It's like I said, it's a passion. So when it comes to coaching and mentoring, I do it. I genuinely do it out of love. You know, there's a lot of people who talk about let's say issues or things that's wrong. So you know, I grew up in New Brunswick, New Jersey. So when I was coming up during the 90s, like it wasn't a good place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I was one of the people who made it out of that environment. You know what I mean? So I went to my high school and the elementary out there, and you know, like I was valedictorian, salutatorian, things like that. So I'm an example of coming from an environment like you can succeed. And my mom just raised me by herself. You know, my father wasn't around or anything like that. So I think, you know, as someone who came out of that, I think it's a responsibility of mine to help other children come out of that. You know what I mean? Because for me, it's like I didn't have that role model or somebody that wanted to pour into me or help me get out. You know, for whatever reason, I was doing these things because I wanted to. I went to school, I got good grades, stayed out of trouble because that's just what I wanted to. And I saw my mother, she went through a lot. So I didn't want to give her extra stress on top of what she's already doing, trying to work, trying to take care of me, and, you know, all the struggles that we were going through. So I think, like I said, I think it's a responsibility of myself and, you know, others who do come out of these environments to give back to the children, because that we don't realize that when we get older, that's going to be the ones who are going to be taking care of us. Our kids, they're going to be the ones in politics, they're going to be the ones, the board of educations, in the neighborhoods, the community service, all of that. They're going to be the ones that's going to take care of the world. So we have to give that back. So I love being able to do that and to teach someone and, you know, help them get to a better place in their life. So the coaching, it just comes with it because it's just something I love. I love basketball. And it's just a way for me to connect with these kids on a deeper level.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? I help them with the skills, with the training, but most important, and I tell their parents this too, when they bring their kid to me, like I'm not like nobody else. I'm gonna make sure that no matter what, your kid always leaves a better person when they're with me. So that's what that is.
That's dope though. I'm a person who lives by being intentional. And I was actually talking to Sarah, was my friend, who's also my makeup artist. Shout out to Sarah. And we were talking in the Uber on our way over here, and we were talking about being intentional, and then also that connecting to your actions. But that action has to make sense for the person that you're being intentional towards. Can you explain to me, like, how important it is to connect the intentionality and the action together when you're mentoring these kids and you're wanting to provide them a solution or outcome?
Yeah, no, I think intention is very, very important. I'll break it down. So even like, let's say I'm in the world of AAU basketball. So a lot of people don't know that world. It's another level of basketball. It's basically saying, hey, I'm taking basketball serious. So I joined the AAU team and I'm willing to travel wherever you need me to travel, play against whoever to be seen and get exposure. So that alone on their part is intention because they want to be better because they're taking it more serious. A lot of programs that are out there, they're more so focused on taking in kids who already have skill, taking in kids who are good, and putting teams together and just going out there and saying, you know, we won, but it's like you might win, but what did you actually accomplish? Did you teach them anything? It's easy for me to take any kid that's just a great athlete and bring them to me and say, all right, let's go out there. Now I got a team of great athletes and we just go win every game. But what did you actually help them with, and what did you actually teach them? I love one of the fields in our area too is like teaching new beginners. That's my favorite thing. I love teaching new beginners. A lot of coaches hate that because you got to start right at basics and teaching somebody how to dribble, how to shoot layups and jump shots, all that stuff. But I love that because now you can actually say, I helped this person in a skill, learn a skill, and at the same time mentoring them, you help them with direction and being a better person. And one of my friends, he always used to say, Jay, we know Jay. Jay, he's another man of many words. But he used to always say, and it stuck with me, that your accomplishments in life are who you helped. So it's not, we think our accomplishments in lives are, oh, we did it. We made ourselves, we built ourselves up and this and that. And it's like, no, it's who you help. In NBA, the biggest individual award that you could get is an MVP. And first thing, or one of the first things, anybody who wins the MVP says they'll thank God and they'll say, oh, I wouldn't have had this without my team. So it's never about you, even when it is about you. It's not about you, it's about who you're uplifting and who you can help. And that's my intention. It's always to help others, always.
It always translates.
100%.
Even your presence, as humble as you are, because your spirit is very pure, it always translates like, I'm here to serve.
Always.
I love that. I really love that about you. You're always just here to like just serve, like, all right, whatever it is that you need me to do, like, I'm here to just do it. And I love that. The Bible talks about if you humble yourself before the Lord, then He shall exalt you. And so exalt means to bring higher. So as you go low, He brings you higher.
100%.
So anytime I think about Derrick Gamble, I always think about that particular scripture with who you are as in your humility. As you go lower, God will always bring you higher.
And with that, you know, I learned a long time ago, and you know, we always complain about things that we got to go through or things that we got to do, right? So if you're at work, for example, and let's say, you know, you got a boss, your boss asks you to do something, and now you're mad because you're like, well, why he asked me to do it? Why didn't he ask Derrick to do it? And I've learned that a long time ago, is that you're doing it because God wants you to do it. So if you can live like that and understand that, then a lot of things don't bother you. So it doesn't matter to me if, oh, we got to the gym, oh, the gym floor is dirty. And it's like, oh, I'm the director of the program, but I have to sweep the floor and clean it for the kids. That doesn't bother me because it's like, God wants you to do that job. That job was meant for you. It wasn't meant for anybody else to do it. So I think that's what we got to start understanding in life, and we got to stop taking things so personal and thinking things are beneath us. You know what I mean? It's just, you go out there and you just live, and you know you're living with a purpose and you're doing it for a reason. You'll have a really good life.
It's like mopping that floor or cleaning the toilet. Like, I think people miss the lesson in that. It's 100%. Character development. 100%. Because when you get to that CEO, or you get to that position where you are higher as far as just your position, you still know how to treat people regardless. 100%. You know, because people are always watching, people are always paying attention to you. And something that I even learned in the last 24 hours, and God is always constantly teaching me, like, okay, like, it's like, remember your response. Like, remember how you respond to things that you feel like, you know, you've either thought you've overcome or you thought you've mastered, or it's always about just, you know, your response and what you do and really how you do it. That really sets the tone.
100%.
So our episode is pivoting. Jay Speaks Pivoting. When I brought you the title to the episode, when I brought you the title to the episode, I want to make sure that makes sense. How did you feel? What did you think?
No, I thought it was great. So it's like, you know, we were talking for a while, and you had asked me to come on the show, and you know, as soon as you asked me, I just said yes right away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I asked you the details after. Hey, what day, what time, where at? I gotta drive to New York. Oh my God! But no, it's cool though. But yeah, you know how it is. But pivoting, I was like, that's so crazy. That's like, it's like things always happen when they're supposed to and how they're supposed to. And you know, for me to even just say yes before you even told me the title, like you told me, we talked for like 2 weeks, and you were just like, oh yeah, I just want to let you know the title of this one is Pivoted. And I was just like, that's so crazy because you know, right now my life is like a pivot right now. So you know, it's severing of old relationships and starting new relationships. Business, you know, my business that I previously was working in, I'm not working in that. You know, my business partner I did have, we're not going to be business partners anymore moving forward, at least for now. You know, but there's still great relationship. You know, my business partner is one of my closest friends, so you know, it's good. But you know, right now I'm in a season of starting something new. You know, I've always had this passion for basketball and the mentoring of the children, and even community service to an extent tied in with all of this as well. And you know, I always look for ways to express it. So God directed me this time, was like, hey, this is your way to express it. This is a love of yours, and it's something that's beneficial to others and the community itself. So literally things just start getting put into place, and things that I normally would think were hard, I noticed that when I actually started focus on it, because I was directed to focus on them, I was completing the task and getting it done, and you know, doing the things that I thought was like bigger than what they really are. Because we always think when it comes to starting anything, a goal or a business or whatever we're trying to do, we from the outside it always looks bigger than what it really is. You look and you say, oh, starting a McDonald's, that looks like it's a lot. It's so much work and this and this and this. But when you actually start to break down and go step by step on your task list, and you know, you make a plan. That's why I tell a lot of people, I'm like, when you have a goal, write it down. Because if you just have it in your head, you're daydreaming. But when you actually write it down, now you have a plan. So in that you can start, oh, okay, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. So, you know, I started walking in, you know, we're talking about walking in faith. And, you know, when I was listening to service, you know, it was like everything was tied in. When I was listening to service, pastor was saying, his like, you know, we always talk about we walking out in faith, but, you know, walking out in doubt, really. That's what we're really doing. So, you know, you're always scared, you're always nervous about what you're about to go into. You're nervous that you're starting something new. You're nervous that you're letting go of relationships. You're nervous that you're letting go of being comfortable to go into being uncomfortable now. So for me, that's where I'm at right now. I'm starting at square one with this new project, and you know, I'm building myself up. So and I'm going all in on it too. So you know, because I care about it, and a lot of these kids that I deal with, it's like, you know, their parents, they notice when someone actually cares about their kid and wants better for their child as well. So, you know, I've been blessed that this new team I'm starting and a new program that I'm starting as well, that a good amount of the kids that I used to coach previously, you know, have decided to move over and actually come with me. And that's an honor in itself, without me even having to ask. I didn't say, oh, come join my team or come, you know, to my program or anything. A lot of the kids just decided to come over, and, you know, parents put it in a lot of the kids' hands too and said, you know, what do you want to do? Do you want to go to a new team? Do you want to stay where you're at? Or do you want to go with Coach Derrick? And, you know, the kids said, I want to go with Coach Derrick. So it's just amazing to get that response back from, you know, a lot of the kids that you put the time in with. But pivoting, so I'm changing up everything, things that I'm comfortable with, and that's where I'm at right now. So, you know, and, you know, you're praying that everything works out. But when you got the faith, you know, it don't have no choice but to work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's true.
That's where I'm at right now.
Do you ever get like a little nervous, like in your pivoting season? Like, were you a little nervous? Were you like, okay, I'm not sure how this is gonna work?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I'm always, I mean, yeah, I think.
Because you're pretty calm.
Even, I mean, on the outside, sure.
Yeah.
But, you know, I have doubts and nervousness just like everybody else. So, for me, the things I get nervous with is perfection. So it's a lot of times, it's like I have a lot of skills, and I know how to do things when it comes to certain areas. Hey, marketing, I know how to market whatever, however, and it's always about wanting it to be right. So when I'm doing something, it's like I want it to be right, and I want, you know, you want a lot of people to be acceptance or learn of it or be a part of it. But at first, you know how it is. It's never going to be like that. It's never going to be like that. You're always building, and you know that's the part that's sometimes is hard for me, is that I'm come from a level where I've already experienced the success and all that. Now it's like you're restarting, and now you got to build up to the success one more time. So that's where the nervousness comes in. It's like you're expecting what you had previously to reflect into this, and always it doesn't. But you gotta, you know, just keep going and keep building from there, and everything, you know, it'll turn out the way it's supposed to.
Yeah. How do you like handle noise? Like with the noise that's around you? Because even though sometimes we are strong and we're like, okay, God, like you got us, et cetera, and then there's that nervous factor. How do you handle the noise around you, and if there is any noise at all?
Yeah, I mean, with the noise, I think, honestly, I feel like the noise that just comes with maturity, and you learn to block certain things out when you get to a certain point. You got to understand things like what's going to benefit you. So even in my marriage, right? So this is something that I tell my friends this too, that are getting into marriages, or they always ask me like, oh, what should I do in my marriage? I always say arguments are going to happen with you and your significant other. Arguments are going to happen. You got to think at the end of the day, with any argument or any situation that you're going to get into, what is the benefit of it? So if I sit there and I win an argument with my wife, what did I win? You know what I mean? What did I actually get out of that? To be able to say, oh yeah, I was right and you were wrong in this situation. And you got to take that approach with everything. So even business relationships, things you do, people are going to talk about you, regardless. If you're doing something and you're successful, people are going to talk about you. People are going to hate on you. You know what I mean? People that don't even know you are not going to like you. You know what I mean? People that do know you won't support you. You know what I mean? So, but you can't control any of that, and you can't let that affect you. And you just got to keep moving forward. People, trust me, there's a lot of things that I've heard. And I mean, I like to think I'm a nice guy. I think you think I'm a nice guy.
Definitely.
But trust me, there's people out there who say bad stuff about me. And I hear it. People come and tell me, yo, did you know such and such said it? And I ignore it. I don't address it. I don't go after it. It's no point in that for me. You're not getting nothing, because at the end of the day, I'm living the way that I'm supposed to live. And at the end of the day, whatever is supposed to come back around to all of us is going to come back around to all of us. And the energy that you put out is the energy that's going to come back to you. And I can't afford to put out negativity and have it come back to me, because anything that comes back to me doesn't just affect me. So I got to think about the other people that's around me as well. So
that's very true.
Yeah.
All big on, I'm really, really big now on just watching how I respond, and even watching how I respond privately too. Like for me, I'm not emotional like people think I am, but when something pisses me off or bothers me, it hurts the heart, because I'm just like, I think for me, I've had to learn and master, which I'm still in this class of mastery with God. Like, you gotta stop expecting you
from other people,
because people are not you.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think for me, I'm just always constantly telling myself, like, okay, Jay, stop expecting you from people, because there is no one like you. You know, you're an original all by yourself. And sometimes you're in a class all by yourself when it comes to certain things that God wants you to master and or, you know, to execute. So I think when it comes to you, when we don't talk all the time, but just by way of, you know, the Spirit, I can always sense and feel, because when you pick up people, you pick up people, and when you carry people in the Spirit, you carry them. But I can always sense, all right, D's someplace in his life where, you know, he's low-key about it, but something is going on. And so this is why this provoked this episode of Perfect. Let's talk about pivoting, because I knew that there was something that you were in transition of. And it always seems like when we're connected to people, right, whether we conversate, you know, all the time or we don't, God is so amazingly amazing in that way where when you go into prayer, it's like, hey, check up on this person, or talk to this person, or he'll use a platform like this to now give you the opportunity to now express what it is that you're going through, so that way it can help somebody else. And so, you know, you being a man who wears so many hats, I think this is going to really help somebody else, especially the men out there who feel like, I have so much going on, right? And sometimes it could be misplaced, but I'm going to teach you a blueprint of how to not allow it to be misplaced. 100%. So I love that you are sharing that, and that you're able to just be free and be like, listen, I'm human, I feel what I feel, and it is what it is. Your upbringing, you said that your mom raised you, you're an only child, right?
Yep, only child.
So do you feel like God then was just teaching you how to pivot always?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think that could be a way. So, you know, for me, being a single child, it's like, you know, is number one is like, people always ask, do you wish you had brothers and sisters? I don't know. Just stop asking me that. People always ask me that. It's like, yeah, I think it would have been great, but then at the same time, it's like, hey, I was the only child. I don't know. I wouldn't be the person I am today. So everybody stop asking me that. But, you know, I guess so. I don't know if it was, I guess it could be pivoting. It's just, you know, it's testing life. You know, you gotta get through tough times, and to get where you are now. I mean, I think at that time, a lot of my friends didn't have fathers in their life actively, or they didn't have homes where, you know, the mom and dad were both there, just the area I was in. So I think if anything, it helped me to pivot into being a great father, I would say. Because, you know, all the things that I know I went through, I wanted to make sure that my kids didn't go through. You know what I mean? So, and I guess maybe I did want brother and sister because I had 3 kids. So I was like, hey, I don't want them to be alone. So I had 3 kids. But, you know, I think the ultimate lesson out of it was, hey, how to be a good father, and to be an example of, hey, just because you don't always have to be a product of your environment, the way you grow up or where you grew up at, you can still be somebody else and come up out of it. And, you know, I think in our urban areas, there are a lot of problems that need to be addressed. So I don't want to be the example of, well, if he did it, you could do it too. There's no excuse for all these things that are going on, because there are a lot of excuses for things that are going on. And I think we need more people that care about those areas and helping those people that are in those areas to become better people, you know, to help to understand the reasons why crime is high in these areas, education levels are low in those areas, why there's no jobs or money flowing into these areas, why there's no owning of property in these areas. I think there's just a lot of stuff that's all tied together that need to be addressed and fixed. And, you know, I'm just a small part of it, trying to, you know, do my part in that. So I guess my big answer to your question.
I love that. You know, even in this moment, as God is speaking to me concerning you, what He wants to relate to you, even in this moment, is that He's well pleased with you. And I don't know if you have questions where you ask God, like, you know, am I doing enough? Or am I good? You know what I mean? You may not verbally say it, but sometimes our spirit, God will reveal the spirit of a person when we have those kinds of questions. It'll almost come up like in a transcript, if that makes sense, where God is having conversation, and you're having conversation with God in your spirit, like, you know, am I doing enough? Are you well pleased? So even in this moment, like, God just wants to remind you that, like, He sees you, He's well pleased with you, and He's well pleased with your heart posture, because everything that you're doing concerning children, community, family, it's so pure that it's almost like, listen, whatever you bring to me, whatever you write, whatever vision I bring forth to you, like, it's going to be executed and to its fullest capacity. So even in this moment, God just wants to remind you that I see you. And that he sees what you're doing, and that he's well pleased with what you're doing. And so this pivoting also calls for even people to be removed from your life that can't go where you're going, because you're going somewhere very, very different, someone very unique. We've always spoke about how you're called to the marketplace, and even though you may not necessarily be called to the pulpit or be necessarily called to working aggressively in the church itself, you know, we are the church, we are the body of Christ. And so the marketplace is going to be a place where God is going to use you to master the things that he needs you to do. And so even that may require for you to go deeper into what the word needs you to do and live by, because there's going to be moments like this where you may be on a platform, someone else's platform, and God may use you in the level and the capacity that you didn't think he would use you. Or you can be sitting down with somebody and you can speak a word or some life into somebody. And so there are going to be things that God is going to now cultivate on the inside of you that you're going to now execute in the marketplace, because you're called to the marketplace. And so that is why as you continue to elevate and as God continues to exalt you, there are going to be people who cannot go with you. And I think for you, you're okay in that place of like, it is what it is. Like, if they can't come, they can't come. It doesn't mean that it's anything harmful or anything that, you know, I wish you ill or anything like that. It's all just, you know what, I'm not assigned to this, and that's okay. Because a part of being a vessel means that you're subjected to God always, and you're subjected to the Holy Spirit 24/7. Like, you have to totally be sold out to God in whatever capacity he needs you to be used. And so, just to remind you, even in this moment, that he's well pleased with you. As we were talking, I just felt led to just say that, and just to remind you that he sees you and that you're seen by many people, even though they may not say it, you know, because people can be people.
100%. All the time.
People, and it's like, God, I love you, but your children are just something, and your creation is something. I always have to go back to that. But just how God is just going to supersede your expectation with your family. It's going to really blow your mind, which is going to be great. And so you are chosen. People always hear that. Oh, you know, I'm called, but I don't know if I'm chosen. You are chosen. You're just chosen for something totally different. And I think that you're walking in that. And I think that you walk in that very gracefully. And I think you walk with that power. Like we were talking off camera, like, we have such power, and sometimes we're not going to see the power that lies on the inside of us. Other people are going to see it, and other people are going to feel it. And so I just want you to know that I support you always. I have your back, and I'm excited for you. And every time I see something that you put on social media, I'm always like, yes, you know, you're doing something, and you're doing something for people. Like, you really are for the people.
Hey, I try to be. And just on that point as well, just always doing something. You know, this is just like a message to everybody that's out there. Like, you know, there's always people who I think I'm a dreamer. You know what I mean? So I'm always dreaming since I could even remember of, you know, where God wants to put me or what I should be doing. So I've literally tried a million things. So I think people should do that as well. Like, don't worry about on the outside somebody looking at you like, yo, oh, you doing it? Oh, you doing this? You're always doing this. And one of my friends who used to always say, he's like, yo, you always changing up. His words were, you're a hustler. I like that. You always hustling, and like you changing up, moving on and bigger and better always. You know, always let it make sense to you. Let it be bigger and better always. In that aspect. But always like keep dreaming and keep finding what's for you. because there's a lot of things that, you know, you'll go in and I'll check, I'll be like, hey, I want to do this, and then God's like, nope, that's not for you. And then I'm like, oh, I want to do this, let me try this, and then God's same thing's like, nope, that's not for you. And then now, you know, I feel like I'm finally in a place, and it does take time. Don't think that, you know, things are going to happen when you're 18, 21. It might happen when you're 18 and 21 if that's what's meant to happen. But, you know, right now I'm at 37. I feel like probably I'm in my peak of understanding life, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? And I think this is like a perfect moment for these things to happen for me, because I understand so much, and I get it. But like I said, don't stop dreaming, and don't stop, you know, trying things. Like, keep going through it, because even the things you're trying, whether that may not necessarily be for you, the lessons that you're learning from it, the relationships that you're learning during that time, anything that you're getting out of it is going to use you, and it's going to come to you to be able to be used in your ultimate goal that you're supposed to be doing. So.
Yeah. And purpose is not just confined to one thing
100%.
Or one lane. So it's like when Jay Speaks is a part of my purpose, right? Building other people in the kingdom, depending on, you know, what kind of gift they have, right? That's a purpose, right? I'm a builder. Like I will build somebody up to the point where it's like when you look at yourself in the mirror, it's like you're gonna know that I'm about that, you know what I mean? And so when I understand purpose, I understand it's so extensive, but all of it ties in together. Like you being a husband, you being a father, you being a coach, you being a mentor, you having all these things, it's part of your purpose, and it all ties together. Do you ever get a little like discouraged in walking in your purpose?
I mean, I'm human just like everybody. I'm human just like everybody else, you know. I think even the best of us, you know, as much as you're faithful and you know things are gonna come out right, you still get discouraged sometimes. Because like the biggest thing with us always is it's always the timing part. That's what it is. You know, right now you're like, you know, you'll talk to guys like, hey, God, I don't know if you know, but these 3 kids down here are kind of expensive. You know, if you could kind of help me out a little bit. And then you see somebody else, and you like see them, it's like, how they get all that? It's just like, what's going on? All right, I'm gonna wait my turn. I'm good. I'm gonna just wait my turn. But you know, I think that's all it is. It's always the timing part, and it's like, you know, just like I was saying off camera as well. It's like, you know, you have to be careful the things that you're asking for and that you're praying for as well, because, you know, strength, that's one of the biggest things I ask for. And when you pray for strength, you got to be prepared to go through tough times, because that's how you build the strength. You don't build the strength by just going through, you know, easy times and stuff like that. So you got to be careful what you're praying for, you know what I mean? So that's something, that's a big thing to ask for, strength. Yeah, give me strength. And we always think, oh yeah, everything's gonna be easy and nice. You just boom, strong, and I can deal with any situation. It's like, no, strength, you gotta go through a bad situation, so next time that situation happens, you know how to deal with that situation. That's it. Build your strength to make you a different type of person to be able to handle and manage things when you get to a certain point. So it's like, you know, I put in my years of going through the tough times, and, you know, God is going to give you the good times as well, so you can appreciate the stuff that you've gotten. So, and that's another thing we gotta remember. It's like we get to these times where we're discouraged, and then I'll sit back and I'll think like, I'll be like, yo, I'm so discouraged, but I'll be like, you know, every time I need something, it get done, and it happens. My kids are taken care of, we live good, my wife is good, I'm good, nobody's starving, you know what I mean? We got a place to live. That's what more do you need at the end of the day? So, you know, for me, that's one of the things, you gotta sit back and be appreciative of what you do have. And I think we miss that a lot of times, and we just sit here like, oh, I don't have nothing. And it's like, no, you got more than you ever could imagine.
Jesus.
Amen.
You really do. Like, waking up in itself is more
100% life
than you can ever even ask or think. The Bible, but it's enough. It's like when you think about it, And these are things that I think people take for granted. It's like, you woke up this morning. It's not because they always say in church, it's not because of your alarm clock. It's not because of things of that. You know what I mean? It's because of God's breath that literally He breathed on you, and you woke up. When you said something about strength, it brought back to me patience. I always ask God for patience, and I kind of. I won't say I wish I didn't, but I kind of would take it back a little bit, like, let me ask for something else. But I asked him for patience, and I didn't realize that when asking God for patience comes with so much endurance.
100%.
And it comes with long suffering, which is also a fruit of the Spirit. I didn't realize, like, as I was coming up in Christ and really just understanding my walk and my position with Him, I was like, God, give me patience. God, give me patience. Give me patience. But all these things that came my way tested my patience, and then it breeds so much endurance to the point where you're just like, when is it going to happen? And then you switch your perspective to when is it going to happen to why is this happening, right? And so the perspective changes on, okay, God, instead of me asking when, because obviously you're going to do whatever it is that you're going to do, but let me ask you why. So the lesson in itself could be, I'm going to show you why you need to go through this, because remember, you asked me for this. So because you asked me for this, the lesson is that when you get to where I need you to go, right, when you are your best self and you are developed for that position, then you'll understand why you needed to go through that. So I think it is important that we have to be careful what we ask God at 100%. All times, because the Bible does talk about dominion, and dominion is authority, and the power of life and death is in the tongue. And so whatever you ask, right, it's going to make its way towards you because of that dominion, because of that authority. And so, if anyone who's watching, please be not be careful, but we would admonish people to just be wise in what you're asking for, because God will bring that.
He'll give it to you.
He'll give it to you. He'll give you the stuff that you need, and He'll give you the stuff that you're asking for. To be like,
always my favorite saying that I think I've ever heard in all of my quotes and videos and everything you see me post, is that it was people always pray for tables and get mad when God gives them trees. And that's like the perfect example for this. It's like, hey, I keep asking for, hey, I want the table. I want it made already and everything. But God is like, I'm not going to give you the table. I'm going to give you the tree. And now you got to figure out how to get the tree to become the table. So that is always, I live by that. I think that is an amazing saying that I've heard. And I think that's how people should start to realize, like, that's how prayer and the things you ask God work for. It's not, you're not getting, hey, here you go. Here's what you asked for. Hey, can you put $1 million in my bank account tomorrow? It's like, that's not happening, but I'll show you the steps and things you should do that could make you get to that. And that's prayer, and all wrapped up.
Definitely. I was always taught, even especially this year, breadcrumbs, like just the breadcrumbs. And at first, when I was being taught that, I didn't understand. I was like, breadcrumbs, really? What does that even mean? But I understood that the breadcrumbs is almost like God leaving a trail. And He's literally like ordering the steps for you to get to where it is that you need to get to. And so that tree, when I think about the tree, I think about how much fruit is on the tree. Because when your tree bears fruit, then you're able to sit at the table with people who you're supposed to be connected to, which I think is always dope, because God is always setting you up. And sometimes you're not even realizing, like, you're being set up, which is amazing. So that's life. It's always a mystery. I'm like, okay, God, what's next? What are you doing? Pivoting this or transitioning this? And I'm in a place right now with me personally. I'm in a transition too, and the season of critical decisions, and it's important for me to make sure that my submission to God, when He speaks, that it happens when it's supposed to happen. because delay obedience is still disobedience. So now, you guys, we're going to transition into one of my segments that I've implemented last year. I was getting nervous with this particular segment because I have Derrick Gamble sitting across from me, and when he was on the lives prior, especially on Married Edition, why I asked why I said yes, he asked me a particular question, and I got a little nervous, and it was very evident on camera that I got nervous, but I'm not nervous today. I don't think I am nervous. But we're going to segue into Ask Jay Anything. So Derrick, you can ask me anything.
That's hilarious.
Literally anything. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid this time. I'm not nervous. Okay, I'm comfortable with you.
That's hilarious.
Ask me whatever you
I tell you guys, it's because I am me and Jay. I'm real with Jay, and I know when you around certain people, you like to tiptoe around things, and I'm not that type of person, so I don't care. Jay's like, I'm like, hey, we friends now, so I'm gonna talk to you like we friends. I'm not gonna tiptoe around nothing. But no, actually, let's go with, I want to know, like, is the vision still the same with Jay Speaks and everything you're doing? Because I mean, obviously, I feel like you leveled up on Jay Speaks, and this is like bigger and better. So do you feel like your purpose and the vision is still the same as it previously was?
Yeah, the why is still the same. I remember last year when you were on the father figure, you asked me what's my why, and I was like, the truth. It's still the same, the truth. I think how God is cultivating the truth with this particular vision of how the execution is a little bit different. I realized that I don't need many people to support what this new vision is, and I don't want to sound too harsh, but I truly don't care, and I'm in a place right now where it's not that I don't care to be not compassionate. I think for me is God is going to get me to a place regardless whether you like it or not you but people, and so the vision hasn't changed, well, the message hasn't changed. The vision is just different. So the message is still the truth, but the vision changes as far as who's around you to help cultivate and execute the vision. 2 years ago when I was in the studio, I had people around me, and it's not a shade thing to anybody, but sometimes the people who you think are going to go with you, they're not going to go with you. And I think we can relate with that, where God pivoted the way that Jay Speaks is supposed to be. Earlier this year during our 40-day fast with our ministry, I totally gave up Jay Speaks. I was like, not that I'm necessarily done with it, but I told God, I said, you know what, God, I'm going to release this, I'm going to give it to you, and if it's really meant for me to do it the way that you need me to do it, then I need you to mature me, cultivate me, so that way when I come and I sit with my guests, that the sound is always authentic, it's integral, it's about love, and it's honest, and it's intentional. And so for me, I think God's method is always changing, but his plan always remains the same. And so his plan for me is to execute this, but the execution process with the vision has shifted. Once I released it, surrendered it, and let it go, then he gave me something brand new, a new vision, new team, new people who are going to be around me, who are going to infiltrate their presence so that way it's a safe space. Now this is a safe space, and so I love it, and I honor it, and I take care of it, and I really, really reverence God's presence being here, because it's going to translate to people who are watching. So the vision has changed, but the message is still the truth.
Always. What do you think what's your goal? Like, what do you want to do ultimately with this, and where do you want to be with it?
So I think being in the studio is something that I always want to do, but I also know that God is going to use Jay Speaks to essentially go to different arenas, like different crowds. Like there are gonna be times where I may do a tour.
Yeah.
You know, God has given me the idea to do a tour, like a tri-state tour, to do that first. And that is a way to, I don't want to say win souls, but that is a way to bring people into the kingdom who are not necessarily saved and or believers. It's to really use my gift for the world, because even though I can use my gift in the house of God, like in the actual vicinity of the house, I think my gift has to be extended to people who may not necessarily be assigned to the house that I serve in. And so there are many things that God is wanting for me to do with this platform. It's just about, again, following those breadcrumbs and just making sure that I always put Him first. The Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and these things shall be added unto you. And so as long as I keep seeking Him first, no matter what's happening around me, He's always going to make sure I get there. And once I get there, I'm not so focused on staying there. I'm focused on the impact. You know, if it's impactful to people in a way that they don't see me, but they see God, then I did what God needed me to do. If they see me and they don't see God, then that means I need to reconstruct some things. And you can't really control how people perceive you. Sometimes people may just see, oh, it's Jay, and it's just like, okay, yeah, I'm the vessel, like we talked about the vessel, but at the end of the day, you have to see God through everything that I am doing. Jay Speaks is already a household name, and now I'm just waiting for it to just be released and out there and grow and different things of that nature. But I'm just excited. I know what it looks like visually, but I'm also open to God changing and, you know, just doing whatever it is that He needs to do, and then not complaining of how He does it. Because at the very beginning, I was doing the lives, and I was like, God, I don't want to do the lives. I feel like everybody does a Facebook or a YouTube live, and I feel like with that, He was developing that humility. Like, in order for me to get to, you know, here, you have to start here. And you may not like it, but I need you to build your audience. I need you to build so that way people really know, okay, this is who Jay is and this is what her platform is. And then once, you know, you come here, it's not that I don't care about the Facebook lives or the YouTube. It's now that there's an outgrowth when it comes to that. Like, you've outgrown it. And so it happened. It was great for 2 years, but now it's time to level up.
I like it.
So I'm in my level up.
I think a good word for you too, man. I think consistency. Stay with it. Don't go work through the doubt and everything like that. I'll say that's coming to me to tell you now. It's literally stay with the consistency and don't give up on it. Just take this year's season of like leveling up. Just literally take this one full season to just stay consistent and don't give up on it and push through, and you'll see the benefits of it for sure. 100%.
It's interesting that you say consistency, because I live by consistency. You know, even in, this may sound away, it's fine, but even if I've operated in dysfunction consistently, I know that I can operate out of dysfunction consistently, because I've some way somehow mastered that, even though it wasn't healthy. And so because now God is shifting the perspective of, you don't need that, you need this. It's now it's going to go to a whole other level and realm where it's going to probably shock me, but I'm okay. I'm ready for the shock. I really am ready for the shock. Like, I'm ready to be like, whoa, okay, this is real. So that's really like where I'm at with it.
See, that was it. I wasn't even gonna bother you and go crazy.
You know,
I wasn't even gonna bother you and go crazy.
Actually,
I know. What's the tell them the Instagram name so the guys could get in the DMs. I know she looking for black guys. I'll tell y'all right now. I'll tell you.
Derrick Campbell. Oh my God.
She's looking for black guys, all right?
Might as well just go for it. Go for the kill.
At Jay Speaks, right? Is any underscores, anything in there? I'm missing something?
You should know my Instagram.
Make sure. Well, y'all, it's at Jay Speaks. You put Jay Speaks, it'll come in JaySpeaks. It'll pop up. Puerto Rican.
Definitely Latina.
All Latina right here. So make sure you come correct. Have a good attitude. What else? She ain't standing for none of your nonsense and all that. Be strong. How, what, 6'5"? How tall you need her?
Derrick. Oh my God.
Hop in her DMs. All right, everybody.
Ooh.
This gonna be a season of marriage. That's what I'm gonna wish that upon you and pray that upon you. All right. Season of marriage. All right. How you feel about that?
Okay, you know what? Let's just go for the kill because, okay, you guys listen. So I think 2 weeks ago I was on my Instagram, and a lot of you guys may know that I have Jay Speaks viewers. Anytime there's a JVS, that means that there's a Jay Speaks viewer who's asking me a question. But I think I had posted something on the threads, and I said, I think it was my husband is a black man, and I posted it, and I was like, and you had DM me, you were like, really? And I was like, yes, Derrick Campbell. My name is Jasmine Vera, and I absolutely love Mr. Black Men. Just saying, everything about them is just like amazing. And so funny that you say that because when I was little, my mom would joke around but was so serious, but she was just like, that Jazzy right there, she gonna marry a black man one day. That's hilarious. And people were like, you cool with that? My mom was like, yeah, because I like them too. And I was just okay. So the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. But yeah, so I'm not going to say too much about what I require because then you might become that and that might be a false identity. So there are non-negotiables and there are standards that I do have, but Derrick, don't make that. I like it. Yes. I like it. Just letting you know Jay's a woman of substance and I'll keep it that period. Yeah.
I mean, getting them DMs, how many characters they need. I know you particular. At least 120 characters. Don't just say hi. Tell her about yourself.
Be intentional.
Be intentional. Yeah, wow, I like that. Be intentional.
Yeah. You just open up the floodgates, I'm telling you. But it's okay though, because I'm open, so it is what it is.
Okay. I'm gonna repost those too. Specifically this part. Even if you don't give me the clip, I'm gonna cut it myself and I'm gonna make it into a clip. And I'm gonna give it to everybody.
I'm gonna tell Garen to cut this clip.
I like that.
And just send it to me, send it to you, and just call it a day.
I'm gonna send it to all my friends. Hey, get in the DMs.
Yeah, I can't with you. Yeah, I always tell Derrick. I said, just make sure you and Gracie come to my wedding.
Oh yeah, we did.
Y'all did like all day. Yeah. So you're invited to my wedding. Just letting you know.
We did.
Whenever that happens.
We did.
All right, this was fun. I really enjoyed this segment. We're going to switch off to another segment entitled Glows and Grows. Grows and Glows, excuse me. So, Derrick, what are you growing from and what are you glowing into?
Oof. I think I'm growing from, I think probably like attachment. You know what I mean? So, just relationships with other people and relationships that, I thought maybe I needed that I didn't necessarily need. It was just, it was a growing process, no pun intended. But that's definitely what I'm growing away from. And what was the second part?
Oh, glowing.
Glowing, okay, glowing. I'm glowing into probably just leadership and responsibility, I think. Just full-on responsibility, because right now I'm still part of a team, but I feel like kind of like I'm the leader of the team at this moment, particularly. Just because that's also just an assignment that I've been given right now, to be the leader right now and to help out that way and to help my partner grow into the leader that he's supposed to be as well. But yeah, I think that's what I am, growing away from attachment and then growing into leadership and responsibility. For
I
sure.
love that.
Yeah.
I'll go. I want to agree with you as far as the growing aspect of growing from being connected or attached to people who no longer serve me, and then I'm growing into accountability.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's good.
So like I'm in therapy, and definitely not ashamed of it. I think it's definitely helping me in understanding that the things that I've accepted in my life, I have to take accountability for.
100%.
So regardless of the mishandlement, regardless of the people not really treating you with love and care and you know, just respect as a whole. I think for me, I'm learning that accountability on my end, that I actually contributed to that, because you have to teach people how to treat you. And the more that I'm in therapy in regards to creating boundaries and understanding that boundaries are biblical, and they're important, they're healthy, that I have to recognize the part that I played in it. So that's what I am glowing into. So
I love that.
Yeah, I know, right? Isn't it kind of, this is kind of nice. It's very mature.
I love it.
For me to sit here and be like, I was kind of the problem when it came to.
Hey, that's big. That's big to be able to sit back, and I think a lot of us need to do that. Look in the mirror sometimes at ourselves in a lot of situations where we like to blame other people for stuff, and it's like sometimes you gotta sit back and like, you know what did I do, or what did I contribute to this situation as well? So accountability is a great word, and sometimes you just gotta accept it and, you know, learn when to apologize, when to say sorry, and, you know, not always be right. That's what it's about.
That's true.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta bite your tongue and be like, listen, just gonna be quiet and just keep moving. Do you have a favorite scripture or a favorite like quote that you live by besides the tree in the table?
That's my favorite one. Look, you stole it. I should have saved that for right now. I don't know. I'm always in the moment of with it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really have a favorite one. I like, you know, for the most, it's whatever in the moment. That's how I kind of make my videos. So I'll let you know that it's literally, I'm in the moment of, you know, what I'm thinking about and whatever I'm hearing, or when I'm in church or listening to anything. It's whatever hits me at that moment that I go through it. And I feel like all my quotes, if you went on my page and you went through my stuff and you started, hey, let me start from months ago and literally go through, those are all quotes and scriptures that I'm going through at the moment. So you know what I mean? So that's I just literally go by that.
I love that.
You know I'm different too.
You are very different. You're very just like.
I remember last time you told me about what was it? It was like Christianity, and I told you I'm like I like to consider myself like a progressive Christian. Like I'm a little different than everybody else. Like I believe in everything, but I'm a little more open to stuff too as well, and everything like that. So I'm very different in that aspect. Yeah.
Listen, however God leads you to stay with Him, then that's the most important thing, as long as it's always Christ-centered. Because we talk about God's methods, and so He may use this or connect this to, you know, bring something, an idea to you that you probably never had or experienced. So as long as you're always Christ-centered, then I'm always here for it. Let's see. I think I'll say my favorite quote.
I know you got them.
Yeah, you know, nobody really kind of taught me this. I kind of just like learned to master it, but I'm not mastering in a healthy way. Fill your cup up so much that whatever is overflowing is for them to keep, but what's on the inside is for you to keep. So I want my cup to overflow so much that the overflow is for people, because what I'm giving to people resides on the inside of me with that cup. So I'm learning to now provide that in a healthy way, where if I give you the overflow, right, I'm not drained at the end of the day, because we're talking about things being, you know, draining. So I'm just in this place of like, make sure you protect your sanity, your peace, and if it's no longer serving you, then it's time to take the cup somewhere else and have some people, appreciate the overflow.
100%, always. Yeah. I like that.
Hey. Well, you guys, this is Jay Speaks Pivoting with my amazing guest, Derrick Gamble. I will definitely make sure that you guys follow him. He is incredible. If he wasn't, he wouldn't be here. Just saying. And yeah, I'll make sure you guys tune in to Jay Speaks every week. And thank you so much for being here and doing this. I'm excited.
Hey, of course, anytime, I'll definitely come out for you for sure. I always love our interactions because they're always so intentional, like we speak of, and there's always purpose behind it, and there's always a message, and you always know the right time to call. You always know the right time to call.
Talk about timing. So I wanted to ask you right here, right now, and I'm sure Grace is going to say yes. I'm doing part 3 of Why I Asked Why I Said Yes, third edition. Yeah,
for sure.
Okay, Gracie. See you guys.
Yeah, we'll definitely do it for sure.
Okay.
No problem. You gotta take another ride to New York, but whatever.
Actually, nope. This one might be in Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah, we might actually go to you.
Okay.
Because spacing is just bigger out there, so we actually might just go out to you guys. And, yeah, have this whole setup and stuff. So I'm excited.
I like that. Also, before we close too, I just want to say, new thing that I'm working on. Prodigy Hoops, New Jersey. That's what we're doing at Prodigy Hoops, New Jersey. That's the program that we're working on and that we're helping the children with tournaments, trying to bring a different light to AAU basketball as well, and coaching and mentoring all together. Testers basketball too as well. It's just that's the basketball team that we're starting. So check us out, East Coast Testers Elite at Prodigy Hoops, New Jersey. Definitely follow the journey and all the great stuff that's going to be happening with the kids, and follow the growth as well. So,
well, you guys, you heard it here on Jay Speak. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode, and we will see you next week. Toodles.
Peace.